Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Lascala, the art teacher. Thank you for joining us. This is an asynchronous class, which means we're on YouTube, which is great for a few reasons. That means we can fast forward, rewind, pause, and watch it again later, or watch it with someone from our household. So glad you could join us. This is the lesson for January 11th to January 15th. And we're going to be focusing on Martin Luther King Jr. for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is on the 18th, Monday. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to read a book, and we're going to do part of the assignment and then the other half of the assignment. We're going to have 2 5-minute screen breaks, and we're going to need crayons, paper. Notebook paper is fine. You want to rip it out, though. But I would try to find copy paper. Okay? We're going to be taking it out. We're going to be folding this, and we're going to be tracing our hand. That'll be later. You might want to use a pencil to make sure you do it right because the pencil has the eraser. All right. So, without further ado, we're just going to go right into the book. This is called a biography. This is a book about a person's life. And since we're going to be talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I feel as if it is necessary for me to read a book about Martin Luther King Jr.'s life. I am Martin Luther King. By Brad Metzler, illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos. I am Martin Luther King Jr. When I was little, I used to get into a lot of accidents. One day, my little brother hit me in the head with a baseball bat. 2 other times, I mistakenly got knocked over by a car. Another day, I tumbled over our banister, then bounced through an open door into the basement. Whoa, amazing fall. Are you okay? I'm okay. No matter how many times I fell, I kept getting back up. Even before I could read, I knew I liked books. My dad always talked about how I kept a lot of books around me. I used to tell my parents, when I grow up, I'm going to get me some big words. There is a power in words, big words. Words were in my future. When I was 6 years old, one of my best friends was a boy whose father owned a store across the street. Dag, you're it. No, you're it. No, you're it. No, you're it. My friend was white and I was black. It didn't matter to us. We would play games and have fun together. But when we started going to school, everything changed. He went to a school where all the kids were white. I went to a school where everyone was black. Soon after, he told me, I can't play with you anymore. Why? My dad said so. He doesn't want us being friends. But why? You're my best friend, aren't you? Aren't you? I didn't understand. It didn't make sense. At dinner, my parents explained. It's because you're black and he's white. But my parents told me to do the opposite. Oh, I was so mad that day. How could someone treat me differently just because of the color of my skin? I wanted to hate my friend and his father. But my parents told me to do the opposite, that I should love my friend, even though he hurt me. They taught me that it's better to have more love in your life than more hate. Then my mother taught me one of the most important lessons of all. You're as good as anyone. You must never feel that you are less than anyone else. I wanted to believe it, but every day I saw the opposite. I saw you could be treated unfairly just because of the color of your skin. If you were white, you went to a good school with great playgrounds and plenty of books. If you were black, your school was small, sometimes with no desks or even windows. Check it out. A playground. Check it out. Where's our playground? It wasn't just the schools. Black people had to use different water fountains, different elevators, different bathrooms. In fact, on a hot day when everyone wanted ice cream, if you were white, you could sit at the counter and eat from a nice dish. But since I was black, if they served me at all, it was through a side window, and they put my ice cream in a flimsy paper cup. This ice cream is perfect. This ice cream is melted. It got even worse when I was 14. I had just won a speech competition. My speech was about being fair to all people. I was so excited. Then, on the bus ride home, a few white people got on board. You need to give up your seat to the whites. At first, I stayed put. It didn't seem fair, but my teacher convinced me to move. We spent the rest of the ride standing and getting tossed in every direction. It was the angriest I had ever been. Every day, this is what life was like. Black people were treated terribly. The only question was, what could I do about it? At the age of 15, I started college. By 19, I became a minister and entered seminary school to study religion. Over those years, I read the words of Henry David Thoreau and Mahatma Gandhi. Thoreau taught me about civil disobedience, how an evil system could be changed without violence. Gandhi opened my mind to the power of nonviolent resistance. What's that? It's love. It's using love and peaceful methods to change unfair things in society. It was a lesson I wanted to share with everyone. In no time at all, I got my chance. In Alabama, a black woman named Rosa Parks was told to give up her bus seat to a white man. It was just like what happened to me. But unlike me, Mrs. Parks refused. She was arrested. Early the next morning, I got a phone call from a local community leader. It's time to take a stand. We should boycott the buses so everyone knows that we won't accept this treatment anymore. You know that that's not going to be easy. Do not ask me if it's easy. Ask if it's right. It was just like Thoreau taught. Instead of using violence to protest the unfair rules, black people would use a peaceful method. We would not ride the public buses. Without our money, the bus companies would go out of business. Now, the only question was, would it work? On the very first day of the protest, my wife called me to the window. The buses are all empty. It's working. We had to keep going. As the head of the bus boycott, I gave one of the most important speeches of my life. The room was packed. Camera crews were filming. I had only 20 minutes to prepare. I didn't use notes, but by speaking from my heart, I found out how big words can be. We are determined here in Montgomery to work and fight until justice runs down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. When the history books are written in the future, somebody will have to say, there lived a race of people, a black people, who had the moral courage to stand up for their rights. The police put me in jail saying I was breaking the law. Other folks bombed my house. But instead of using my fists, I kept calm. Don't you want to fight back? I am a man of nonviolence, and I know that I do not stand alone. We are with you all the way, Reverend. If no one rides these buses, we'll go out of business. You're finally getting that, huh? For more than a full year, every black person in the city, and some white people too, refused to ride the buses. That meant some people had to walk for miles, but they kept going. Eventually, our peaceful protest worked. The rules were changed. Public buses could no longer separate people based on the color of their skins. That was only the beginning. Soon, our peaceful protest sparked other peaceful protests. At lunch counters, college students organized sit-ins, where they would not stop until everyone could eat together. Our method of nonviolence was so powerful. I was invited to meet with the president at the White House. But sometimes the hardest problems were right at home. Daddy, look, an amusement park. Please, can we go? I'm sorry, Yoki, we can't. Funtown is not open to black people. Seeing my daughter cry was one of the most painful moments of my life. It only made me work harder for change. Was it easy? Absolutely not. During our protest in Birmingham, Alabama, the police again arrested me and locked me in a dark jail cell that had only one window. Someone slipped me a newspaper in which white religious leaders had written an article calling us lawbreakers. Someone then snuck me a pen. In that jail cell, I wrote my own response in the margins of the newspaper and even on toilet paper. My letter from Birmingham jail was soon published as a pamphlet. Then it was in magazines and newspapers. Today it has been read by millions of people. Like I said, it's amazing how big words can be. Our message was so important, even kids your age joined us in Birmingham. During the Children's Crusade, more than 1,000 kids, some as young as 6 years old, showed up to march. What do you want? Freedom. The first day, the police arrested 900 of them. The next day, 2,500 children showed up, ready to go to jail. This was our finest hour. Enraged that we were not giving up, the chief of police told the firemen to spray the children with water hoses and attack them with dogs. They thought it would stop us, but instead, as the whole country watched on TV what they were doing to our children, it was a wake-up call for the nation's conscience. 90 days later, the rules began to change. Now, blacks and whites in Birmingham were using the same lunch counters, water fountains, and restrooms. You could feel it in the air. More change was coming. Freedom was contagious. By the summer of 1963, an estimated 1 million Americans held their own protests in cities across the world. A man named A. Philip Randolph suggested a massive march. If we march together peacefully, they won't be able to ignore us. Together, we can convince Congress and the President to pass laws so that no one in America can treat people differently based on skin color. I like the idea. Where should we have it? There's only one place. People came from almost every state. They came in nearly every form of transportation. They even took off work and did not get paid just to be there. Old people, young people, black people, white people, even children like you, they all came to Washington, D.C., gathering in a righteous army. Why? Because they wanted a change, and they knew the surest way to change the world is to stand together. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. On August 28, 1963, I stood at the podium and spoke what some later call my biggest words of all. March on Washington for jobs and freedom. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that one day little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. Let freedom ring from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. After the March on Washington, the President and Congress passed new laws for civil rights, but that didn't mean our work was done. Indeed, our greatest battle was still to come. It began with 600 activists as they tried to walk 54 miles from Selma, Alabama to the state capital of Montgomery. Back then, there were rules that stopped black people from voting. If you wanted to change the laws, you had to be able to vote for new people to make new laws. We're marching to the governor. If we want voting rights, this brutality must end. No matter what, don't let them pass. The police had billy clubs and tear gas. They attacked our group and knocked many people down. But as I learned so long ago, you have to get back up. no matter how hard they hit us. We remained peaceful. Still, we didn't get through. 2 days later, we tried again. Now there were 2,500 of us. We will get to Montgomery. No, you won't. I promise you won't. Once again, we tried. Once again, we did not get through. Did we give up? What do you think? It was Saturday. It was Sunday, March 21st, 1965, our third try. Now we had 8,000 people with us. We're on the move. We shall overcome. Check out the crowd. Black, white, Christian, Jewish, all standing together. For 2 days we marched. Rain could not stop us. The world was watching. The White House was too. President Johnston even sent troops to protect us. Exhaustion could not stop us. As we reached Montgomery, Alabama, tears were shed. But this time, they were tears of joy. In my life, people tried to tell me I wasn't as good as they were, just because of the color of my skin. When someone hurts you like that, it can be tempting to hurt them back. You must refuse. When someone shows you hate, show them love. When someone shows you violence, show them kindness. To reach our goals, we must walk the path of peace. We must lock arms with our brothers and sisters. We must march together. When we do, our voices will be heard and freedom will ring. Remember Funtown Amusement Park? Its doors eventually opened to black people, and Dr. King got to take his daughter. Did you know that he was the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize at that time? Just 35 years old. He donated the prize money to the civil rights movement. He said that prize money was the work of many others unsung heroes. He fought against poverty, too. There's even a national holiday for him, the third Monday of every January. Only Washington and Lincoln get a day like that, and they share theirs. It's a day to remember how far we've come and how much more work there is to do. I am Martin Luther King Jr. I stand for peace. I stand for justice. I stand to help others. I stand as proof that no matter how hard the struggle, we must fight for what is right and work to change what is wrong. Whatever struggle you face, no matter how hard it gets, you must always move forward. I am proof of this. If we rise up, if we stand together, if we remain united, nothing can stop our dreams. The end. All right. We're going to take our first 5-minute break, get away from the computer monitor, get away from the screens for a little bit, for 5 minutes. And let's contemplate Martin Luther King Jr. for a little bit. See you in about 5. All right, welcome back, everyone. Please get a paper, a pencil, and a lot of crayons. All right, we're going to go over basic shapes, and we're going to also create our very own card. It's going to be really fun if we do it step by step. Okay, if you have a notebook paper, you can kind of rip it out. Okay, here's my paper I'm going to start with. Now we're going to trace our hand, so you're going to want to have a flat surface to work on. So you're going to want to put it off to the side so that you can still see what I'm up to. And I'm able to show you what I'm up to with a clipboard so I can hold it up. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold the paper over in 2 halves, okay? We're going to hold it this direction. What do we call this? That's right. If you said vertical, give me a thumbs up. All right. So we're going to hold it very good. That's vertical. We're going to actually hold it this direction, which is horizontal. Give me a thumbs up if you knew it was horizontal. You can give yourself a thumbs up if you called it landscape. All right. So what we're going to try to do is fold it in 2 places like this. Okay. You're going to keep it flat. You're going to fold it over like this so that both the corners will connect. And so that both pieces of the paper meet each other, and then you push down, and you flatten it on this side, and you try to flatten it on the other side. It's okay if it's not perfect. There we go. Now what I like to do is I hold it in one area, and I let my finger go down the side, and I push it down against the table. Same on this side, just to make sure that it has a nice door. See, it has doors that can open up. We're going to put a picture in there later. Right now, we're going to put a picture on the front, an outline of our hand. All right. So, now that we have this, we're going to now put our handprint on here. Now, normally we would use like paint and we do a communal project. Today, we are going to just try to trace our very own hand. I find it's easiest to use the pencil because of the eraser. Remember when erasing, you erase and then you carefully brush it off to the side. You're going to be super careful because you're going to be going over pieces of folded paper. So you want to be super duper careful, especially with a pencil. You don't want to go super fast. I'm going to use a crayon so that you can see it. I'm going to use my trusty crayon. It's getting smaller by the week. And I'm going to put my hand in the middle of this paper. Okay. I have a really big hand, so I can't separate my fingers that much. Hopefully you can separate your fingers just enough so that your thumb and your little pinky are still on the piece of paper, like that. All right. I start at the one wrist, and I draw around. Let's see if I can show you how I do it. Kind of. Now, it's okay if you lift your pencil or crayon off of the paper, especially when you come to the middle area that has the door. And you want to draw all the way around each finger until you get to the wrist again. Not bad. Now, what I like to do is connect it. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm going to connect it over like that. So I have a hand. Now, to represent all the colors of the rainbow, all the colors of our nation, we are going to use as many different colors as we can in our crayon and color this hand in using as many colors as possible. All the colors that you have. All right? I want to see them all trying to be utilized and used. Okay, you're going to try to color inside the hand and try to stay inside the lines. All right? We're going to take some time to color it. I'm going to color it while you are working on it right now. Maybe you can help me identify some of the colors as I take them out. Green. Brown. Purple or orchid in this case. Red. Brick red. Let me show you how far mine looks so far. Pretty fun, right? Gray. Yep, that's gray. Yellow or dandelion. Olive green, not just green. Orange. Pink. Yellow. Again, I have a few different yellows. This one is a lakeshore yellow. I guess the other one was a dandelion yellow. Apricot. Yellow green. Burnt orange. Rossiana. Mahogany. Periwinkle. That's also blue. Mahogany is also brown. Gold. Plum or purple. Also, if you want to, if you're getting these colors right, why don't you just give me a wink if you can? A brown would be acceptable. This is bittersweet. green, or yellow-green. I feel like we did a yellow-green already. No, we did green-yellow. So now this is a yellow-green. All right. Tan. Scarlet. White. Burnt sienna. Chestnut. Tumbleweed. My last color is sepia. Or some people say sepia. All right. So this is what my hand would look like. Very cool, right? Now we're going to take our second 5-minute screen break, and then we're going to work on the inside. If you'd like, you can move the screen to the side so you can get your away from the screen time, and you can color the background in any colors you want. One color, many colors. It's all right now that we have an outline around everything. You could try to use all your colors again. All right. That being said, I'm going to set up the clock for another 5 minutes. And then when we come back, we're going to draw a heart and a peace sign together. And then we're going to color that in. Here's the timer. There we are. All right, welcome back, everyone. If you were on YouTube, which we are, you could have just fast forwarded through that if you didn't want your screen break. But I do suggest getting away from the monitor for a bit. Even pausing this would be fine, and going to do something else would be all right, as long as the adult in the room says it's okay. So now we have our handprint. Now what we need to do is open it up. And now we have this whole fresh area here to create a giant heart with a peace sign in it. Let's see if we can do a heart first. Okay, remember how I showed you how to make the heart? Okay, we're going to find the center of our paper. I put a little dot there. It's really hard to see. Okay, right about here is where you're going to start. And what you go up is up and go as wide as you can, and then point down towards the bottom of your paper. Okay, there's our heart. It's okay if one side's bigger than the other. Next, we're going to put a peace sign in. Okay, this is a symbol of peace. It starts with a circle. Remember how I showed you how to make the circle freehand? Then you put a vertical line. 2 lines out the side. Now the next part is to color in your peace sign and your heart. All right, we have approximately 1 more minute. So you'll be able to, after this class or over the weekend, you can color this in on your own and using the colors that we've just used. All right, I'm going to start with the middle of the peace sign. I'm going to start with a color. You can tell me what color it is. Very nice. That was orange. All right. We're going to try to use as many of these colors as we possibly can. Dandelion. Gray. The smaller you make these little marks, the more colors you can fit in. Burnt orange. So with the more colors that you can fit in, if you have like a few colors, you're going to want to make the areas nice and big. Brick red. If not, you're going to make it kind of small. All right. If you have a lot of colors, you're going to make small areas that could just be like this if you'd like. Purple. Gold. All right. I want you to continue on your way, coloring in your heart. You can color the background in just the same. Have fun. Use as many colors as you can. This is a great time to use colored pencils if you have them. If you have markers and you want to use them, I suggest to be very careful because you don't want it to bleed through the other side. So you want to take your time. I don't suggest using markers. All right. I hope you had a great time. It was great to have you here. I hope you have a wonderful day, a great week. Thank you, adults, for being here, and thanks, students, for coloring with me. Bye-bye.